Hello, everyone. I'm Dave DeGuzman. Welcome inside the NBC4 Digital Center for this edition of NBC4 Sports Extra. Today, we're sitting down with someone who is breaking barriers and inspiring a generation one stroke at a time. We're sitting down with Ash Pryor. She is a former Division I athlete. She walked on to the Ohio State rowing team, and in her freshman year, she wins a Big Ten championship with the Buckeyes. So that was already impressive. Then she goes on to pursue a master's degree in higher education at Ohio State, and then she's been on this fitness journey ever since. She's also overcome an autoimmune disease, and in 2022, she got hired by Peloton as the company's first plus-size instructor. So we figured for this interview, we would hop on a rowing machine myself. So we went into the gym here, and I just hopped on a rowing machine and did this interview over Zoom to talk to Ash Pryor. She is an amazing interview. A lot of great tidbits about how she got into rowing, how Peloton found her. It was through a DM. She said she thought she was catfished, and how she's been inspiring people through Peloton. So here's my interview with Ash Pryor.
So this is like the most creative, I think, Zoom that I've ever put up, where I've never worked out during a Zoom before. So I just wanted to think outside the box and kind of
I like it.
Be different. So
you're trying to come for my job, essentially. You're trying to work out and talk, and this is your audition? Is this your audition?
I guess, but I don't plan on actually passing. So
okay.
we're just gonna.
We'll grade you at the end. Normally
I'd be like, hey, how's it going? But since I'm on a rower,
yes,
and I'm going to be rowing during this thing, what are some just basic tips? Because sometimes people hop on the rower and they forget the powers in their legs. So just give me some basic things as before I start.
Okay, so first of all, you're already in a good position because you know that it's power from your legs, 60% powers. Come up to the catch at your most compressed position. Pinkies are going to be flirting with the edge. So you're in a good position. You don't want to be too tight in. Shoulders are relaxed.
Okay.
And now you're going to push from the top of your toes to your heels and squeeze your glutes hanging with your lats. So shoulders in front of hips, squeeze, push, and then at 3/4, open your back. Last 10%, bring it into your
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so when I come up like this, all right.
So then pause at the end, which is the finish. So back here at the finish.
Back here?
Yep. So lower your handle down to your chest.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So pause at the finish.
Pause here.
Yep. So instead of being here, drop it down just to your
drop it.
Yep. That's a perfect position. Now just do arms away. Nope. Move your legs.
Okay.
Arms away.
Don't even move my legs. See, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Yeah. So say back at your finish. Back at your finish.
Okay.
Yep. So arms only. Just move your arms away. Only like zombie arms. Now, sit up tall.
Okay.
There you go. Now, from your hips, do not move your legs. Hip hinge forward.
Oh.
And then slide. See the difference?
Yeah. Okay.
Versus moving together. I call this chops. You want to set, length, then slide.
Okay. That's a lot to think about in one movement. So we're just going to hopefully
I think you're
a few and
you already did it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's fantastic. Just think if your knees hit your hands, you didn't have patience. There you go. Perfect.
Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to go on this journey as we talk. So, how are things right now? When did you graduate from Ohio State?
So I got my undergraduate degree in 2013, which was a bachelor's in human development and family science, focusing on literacy is what I wanted to do. I thought I'd go and be a teacher. And then I got my master's degree in higher ed, student affairs in 2015, because I had a really cool encounter as a student athlete to work in the vice president's office. And that's where I met President Gee. And I worked for him for a summer. And he's like, you should go to grad school and let's talk about it. So I had a really unique experience. And being a first generation college student, it was amazing to not only graduate grad school, have this amazing experience as a student athlete, but then to also be able to go and get a master's degree, which I never thought I would do. So I have 2 graduation dates and hopefully one day I'll get a doctorate. So fingers crossed.
That's so exciting. I mean, the fact that you're, still going at it, still going after it is just freaking amazing.
Yes.
Okay. How's my form now? Are we okay? Like, are we?
So think of arms and body before legs slide.
Gotcha.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay.
Arms, body. You're natural.
Arms, body.
Looks like you
Okay.
need to fly out to New York and come take a class.
And I'm from New York, girl. Like, I
Oh,
grew up
come
in
on out.
Queens, so I need to do it.
This is home, so you need to make it happen.
This is home. So, where did rowing come from for you? You came in as a walk-on,
Yes.
and so tell me about how you started your rowing journey, because it's
Yes.
not like
Oh,
every day where people do that.
no, it's not. I'm fortunate enough, though, in my high school, they had a rowing program connected to the city. So most rowing programs aren't necessarily in the schools, but they're in the district or around that city. And I was in basketball practice. We got a water break, and I just heard this like vroom, and these people lined up in this hallway, and it was the rowing team, and they were just like in conditioning. And I thought it was so magical seeing these people moving back and forth, and it was so cool. And I went home and I told my mom, I'm like, I love this. I found out about rowing. Like they look so strong. This looks so cool. I was in my junior year. We didn't know much about it. So unfortunately I wasn't able to get involved. But my going into my sophomore year of college, because I played 1 year of college basketball at like a JUCO level for a technical
Mhm.
school. And I was walking around Ohio State campus with my friend who was also going to go to Ohio State, who's also very tall. And someone approached us and was like, "You look athletic. Would you ever want to row? Have you ever thought about it?" And I was like, "This is my moment." And I like completely was like, "Yes, I will be there. I'm transferring to main campus. I will do whatever." And I just like trained. We had hundreds of girls walk on. And I just knew that this was the thing I wanted to do, and I knew that it would change my life, and it has. It's led me to some beautiful experiences, but it was planted in high school, but did not come to be until my sophomore year of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite memories from being a rower at Ohio State? How did it help shape you into the person you are today?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I'm known for being like a drills queen. I'm focused on education when I'm coaching. And I've coined our endurance rows at Peloton a love letter because it makes me think of the time we were in St. John and we'd have these steady state rows. You're rowing for like 2 to 3 hours continuously with your teammates, windows open. Sometimes it was snowing or raining, and you just had these like, you're moving together, and then you have the strength of the team and you're having these sing-alongs. So you're working really hard and you know you're going to be here for a very long time, but you just get to sing along, get to build these memories. And I think my obviously my favorite is when we won Big Tens in 2011. I think that was just obviously a magical time. It was my first year on the team as a novice. My boat just needed to place fifth. We ended up placing third, so I got a bronze medal. We beat a team that we were not able to beat all year long for that, and then to go on and truly contribute at a high level for that team championship. I think it was magical. So nothing can beat when you hear that you are a Big Ten champion.
I
No,
mean, it's like to be one of the few that
yeah.
can say that. I mean,
And
there's
then
only
as a
a
woman of
handful.
color, it means so much to be able to represent as a black woman in this sport. It's like chef's kiss. Yeah.
Let's touch upon that a little bit. There aren't many people who look like you, or frankly me,
Yeah.
that are in rowing. Was that, for lack of a better word, intimidating at first? And like, how did you navigate that?
I think anyone who knows me knows I've always been kind of a risk taker, even if I'm scared. And I talk about this a lot in class from my mentor who always said, do it afraid. I've always kind of been like a little quirky, and I'm like, I don't see people who look like me, so I'm just gonna see what this is about and figure it out." It definitely had its challenges, and I think the history of rowing and sometimes the culture of rowing can be a little non-inclusive. And so I really wanted to be able to find my own. I love the strength you find in rowing. I love the community you find in rowing. I love the fact that you have to trust the person in front of you and the person behind you has to trust you. There's so much to it that it's such a gift that I wanted to open that up to more people, which is why I continued with it, even when I did end up leaving the team later on to go pursue grad school and work full time. But I loved that I was able to continue to have this for the rest of my life. And that's how I started advocating for more Black and Brown folks in the sport of rowing, and why I started Relentless Rowing Academy. And then it's ultimately what led me to Peloton and being able to be at such a global platform to talk about rowing and fitness and inclusion and what that looks like in a lot of different sectors. So it's been it was uncomfortable, but I knew that there was a bigger why, and I was more interested in finding that and fueling that than the fear of, oh my gosh, I'm the only one or I'm one of few.
Inclusion lives over here. And somebody on this leaderboard is going to row for 45 minutes for the first time. And I need them to know, don't be so hard on yourself. We got a lot of room to row. Enjoy.
You mentioned Peloton. So how did that opportunity of a lifetime come up? Because obviously, ever
Yeah,
since the pandemic, it's been such a big thing. I mean, it was even before, but it
yeah.
exploded during the pandemic. And to be one of the many who are able to inspire and guide people through their own fitness journeys, I mean, that says a lot about your strength. How were you able to get into that world?
Yeah, at first I thought I was being catfished when I got the message because it came through social media. And ironically, I was a youth rowing coach on the water while working as the director of operations for Ohio State Women's Rowing. And we were in a team meeting trying to plan our strength session, our winter training for the youth. And I'm like in my car waiting for it. And I see this message that's like, hey, we have this really cool thing coming forward. Would you be interested? And I just saw Peloton. I'm like, is someone like, this is a cruel joke, but at the same time, I had never necessarily thought of it. I hadn't gone after it. You do not apply to be an instructor. They find you. And I mean, at the time, I think I had like, 2,500 followers. So it wasn't like I was this mega creator. And I'm like, the little girl from Ohio, like, you want me? And, we just went through the interview process. It was a very long process, but it was very magical. Obviously, I could not tell anyone. Even when I moved to New York, I told people that I was going to be Moana on Broadway, just as a joke, but also I think some people were like, maybe this is real. She is a rower. She does love water. So yeah, it was just a really fun time to grow in my own confidence and my own ability when you can't talk about it to anyone. So I moved to New York under secrecy. I went through the whole process. No one knew what I was doing. And then here we are 3 years later.
3 years later, how do you describe what this journey has been like? Because it's one thing to get the job, it's
Yes.
another thing to do it. And I mean, there also must be a little bit of maybe pressure, not necessarily they put on yourself, but you gotta, I mean, I'm sure you thought about it. It's like, wow, there's people watching me. I'm kind of like, their fitness journey is in my hands in a way.
Yeah.
I just wonder, what has it been like for you these last 3 years?
It's been amazing, to be honest. It obviously has its challenging. I'm Peloton's first plus size instructor. And so to not only be able to represent for an Olympic sport and to be able to represent as a Black woman in rowing, but then to also say fitness can look different and you are still a very fierce athlete at different sizes. And that's okay. Like my strength. My powerhouse, I call it thigh meat. Like, for rowing, as you're doing right now, a lot of that power is 60% is coming from your legs. I got a lot of thigh meat to work with, so I got a lot of power. And I love being able to incorporate that. Like no matter what you experience, I have Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disorder, which greatly impacted my life. And so I talk about what that looks like to have a chronic illness that has inflammation, that has all these other symptoms. And every day I choose to figure out what my fight is and to find my strength. And I learned that on and off the row. And so it's been really exciting to represent for the autoimmune disease community. It's been really exciting. I recently just came back home and completed my first half marathon at the Cap City half. And that was really exciting because I'm a leader from the back of the pack. And I wanted to demonstrate that. Listen, I'm going to be very vulnerable. I am not a super fast runner, but I have the grit, I have the determination, and I want to just get out there and try. If I fail, I have knowledge of how to go back and be better, but at least I tried. And I think that's a big part of my coaching style is give it a try. Do it afraid, face it head on, and then let's grow from there and figure out all these other things. But I love it. It's been my passion. I love fitness. I love wellness. I love athletics. And I think what I've learned by sharing more of my journey and who I am, that's what the world is looking for, is transparency and honesty. They're not looking for perfection. They're looking for progress. And if you can open that door to show them, hey, I'm not perfect. Here's the things I'm working on. Even in class, I'll say, hey, today, this is what I'm working on when I get fatigued, is making sure that my elbows are staying out because I tend to get a little tight and narrow. I think that those are the things that allow them to say she can be great and still recognize her areas of growth, then I can do the same thing and go do really cool stuff.
That is really awesome. By the way, I don't know how you do this whole working out and
I know this
talking
whole time I'm
thing
like, you are
at
coming
the
from my
same time
job.
because this is not easy. Because I'm like, is my form right? And then
Yes.
thinking about like, okay, what's my next question? Like, girl, I don't know how you do it. The feedback you've gotten from Peloton users, what has that meant to you to be able to not just inspire, but for people who can say that, oh, there's someone like me who's
Hmm.
guiding me. What has that meant to you?
Oh man, I put on my lashes today. You can't make me cry.
I'm
Good
sorry.
gracious. No, it's been magical, and I think a lot of times when you maybe haven't been the cool kid or the in group to have someone be able to invite you in, it has been so heartfelt. I don't have the same body I had when I was 21 years old rowing in college because I also have this autoimmune disease and that impacts me. And so I think just being able to show people that I'm willing to start over, but I'm not starting from scratch is so big. That's something I say often in class. Um, I think it's huge. It's exciting when you get the message. We have a big weekend coming up with Lululemon, and to get the messages of people saying, "I'm wearing a sports bra in class for the first time because you showed us we can wear crop top," or "I'm wearing shorts and I used to hate my legs, but you show us how empowering it can have for the thigh meat," or getting guys in class who are like, "Oh, I'm ready to sparkle with you and like, kick my butt." It is exciting to see all these people from all walks of life tap into a little piece of being a child again and having that wonder and being able to be a little goofy or, I wear really fun and bright outfits depending on the class to match the mood. And, watching people come in and say, "I've always wanted to wear a sparkly legging." And like, you let me know that like I can be strong and also be very girly and that's okay, or I can wear my afro because I'm going to hear an Afro beats class. I'm going to take one with you and to like hear my culture, hear a Latin row, a Desi row. I think being able to, it seems small, but it's huge. When you come into a class and you can pick a Desi row, that's magical to be like, I get to see myself and I get to know that I'm not invisible is huge. And it's a lot of trust. To your point, you said earlier about there's a lot of trust here. They're trusting when they come into my class. I'm not only knowledgeable, but I'm thoughtful. And there's a lot of planning in those classes. We don't just show up and teach them. I am intentional down to what my swoops look like in my hair, the color theory matching the class, the musicality, the beat drops. What is the intention I want from this class, and what is the feeling that I want them to have? So there is a lot of planning that goes into it to make sure that the person on the other screen, whether they're in the room or across the country or the world, that they feel like they're physically there in the boat with me. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you make, working out cool. I mean, you're part of that whole revolution of, making working out cool again. And one thing that struck me about what you just said is the ability to start over again. It's
Mhm.
almost like every day you have that ability to do that. And I've
Yeah.
noticed, from following you on social media that, every day is kind of like a new journey. Can you tell me about
Mhm.
right now where you are on that fitness journey and why it was important to quote unquote start again?
Yeah, right now I'm in the process of running a full marathon now that I've finished the half. I have a few more that I need to, get under the books, but I'm excited to run a full marathon. I don't know what that will be, but we're in training for that. I'm excited to start, competing in high rocks. I have a doubles partner. We're gonna do mixed doubles. And so I'm really excited about getting back into the community, and then also doing some learn to rows and getting people back on the water, including myself. I don't know that I'll be competing in rowing ever again. Maybe someone can convince me to hop into an alumni boat or a mixed boat. But as of right now, I'm just really excited to show the diversity of what athleticism looks like and the passion that looks like, and then also just getting back out there in the community and exposing more people to water rowing as well as joining us in the indoor row. So yeah, and I have my medals because I'm so excited for them. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what my body is capable of. And as someone who has an autoimmune disease, I have to train very smart. And I think that that's been some of a challenge because I know mentally and emotionally where I want to go, but I have to make sure that I can have longevity in that. So how do I manage teaching amazing classes and not overdoing it and then having these personal goals on the side? And so I'm really proud of myself, even though I'm a sexy pace runner and I lead from the back. I'm excited to represent that because I'm training smart so that I can do this forever, and not just for this fleeting moment.
And you're doing it, and
Yeah.
that's what really matters is that it's better to try than to not at all. As you're kind of evolving on this journey with Peloton and with yourself, what do you hope people can take away from what you've been through, what your story is, and just how people can kind of get inspired by what you're doing, what Peloton trainers do every day?
You have to be a little delusional in your dreams, right? I knew I wanted to do something big. I didn't know what that was. I journal. I talk about scrapbook journaling a lot. I journal a lot. I wrote down everything that I have. I didn't know what it would exactly look like or where it would be. I didn't write down Peloton, but I knew I wanted to be a leader in a large scale. I knew I wanted to be in fitness, and I'm able to do that. So I think be a little delusional. Don't let people get in your way. Go after it. And it's the small things you're willing to do to build up to the big wins. So everything that you're doing, the discipline, the routines, they all matter so that when you get there, I think what was so magical about my audition and every interview I had with Peloton, because I couldn't get validation from anyone else. I had to prep on my own. And then also, how do you really prep for an interview for that? Was that I was so secure in all the other things I had experienced in life that I never questioned if I was good enough when it came time to step on stage. When I came to New York and I interviewed, I knew immediately this was mine. And I trained like this was my job to lose. And I think whatever it is anyone wants to do, they have to have that mentality. This was my job to lose. I knew I was the best person for it. I knew that I wanted it and I was hungry, and I made sure everything I did lined up to get me to that goal. And then to your point, not just to get to the goal, but to retain the goal and to continue to grow in the goal. And it's been magical to see. I recently got a message from someone that said, I can see the work that you're putting in because your classes are elevating and taking your day one class to where you are now. It is inspiring to see the growth. So it's not just about obtaining what you want. It's also making sure you've set yourself up so when you get the thing, you can hold on to it and you can elevate in it.
That's incredibly inspiring. I guess to kind of bring it full circle as we start to wrap up, did you ever think that when you left Ohio State, this was the journey you'd be on for the last like 3 or 4 years?
No, and it's been so. I knew I wanted to leave Ohio, not because I don't love my hometown. I represent Ohio all the time. When people come in wearing that State Up North clothing in class, they get a little scolded. So I love Ohio, but I knew that I needed to explore. And I'm so grateful for what I learned at Ohio State. I had amazing mentors and in the city. But I knew that I wanted to be able to do something. And you mentioned earlier too about pressure. And that is a privilege to have that level of pressure. And I don't take that for granted. And it's so magical to be able to have that level of pressure and then to also pave a way to see who's going to be that next generation, who's going to, how can I smooth that out for them to be able to also elevate and continue to grow. So I did not think that I would be here, but I'm so blessed to be here. And I'm excited of where I'm going to go and the people that I'm going to be able to meet. And our Peloton community is so special. So if you are not on Peloton, you need to come hang out with us. We are fun.
Before I let you go, I mean, we are like 30 minutes in.
What I love about it is I gave you the tip about make sure your arms and body move before you slide. And there's moments where you might have slipped a little bit and you were like, So like, chef's kiss. Girl. I'm loving it. I love the concentration. You were like, I'm going to do this right. And you look good. You look good.
Ash, I really appreciate the time. And thanks for watching me work out. Next time we'll do it together. I'm going to drop in on a class.
Please come to New York, please.
All right, our thanks to Ash Pryor for the time. What a great conversation talking about body positivity and also diversity and inclusivity in the fitness industry. Wish her all the best of luck in her future fitness endeavors, which apparently includes high rocks and maybe adding Pilates into the mix in her Peloton journey. We shall see what happens there. But again, our thanks to Ash Pryor for the time. And thank you so much for joining us here on NBC4 Sports Extra. I'm David DeGuzman. Until next time, have a good one.
Thanks for watching. For more NBC4, download the NBC4 streaming app. You'll get free 24/7 local programming streamed straight to your living room. Just search NBC4 Columbus on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, or Samsung device.